Hey, Kingdom Dream Chasers. All right, welcome back to the show. So glad to be with you. I'm unveiling a new series, and it's going to really be very, very practical, tangible things that you can be doing to take on the mindset and the attributes of a kingdom CEO in your business. So here's the deal. If you can't see yourself in the future version of you, you're not going to be able to get there. What do I mean? Well, scripture is really clear. It tells us that without vision, the people perish. So it's vision that becomes guiding. So sometimes we try to think that we just need to be motivate ourselves. We just and we kind of punish ourselves into trying to tell ourselves that just be stronger, just be motivated. But that motivation needs to come from that deep internal place. And that deep internal place is a faith in the place that you want to go to. It doesn't matter if this is a place in your marriage that you want to get to, a healthier place in your marriage. It doesn't matter if it's a healthier place in your physical body. It doesn't matter if it's a healthier place in your spiritual life or a healthier place in your business. When you see yourself operating as that future version of you and doing it well, then you now have the path, the faith that you can get there. Without that vision, we really are stuck in our limiting beliefs and we fall back into old patterns and we find ourselves, kind of uh, taking a step forward, two steps back, taking a step forward, two steps, sometimes three steps back, sometimes two steps forward. But we find ourselves falling back into the old patterns. So, what I'm going to be doing over this series is there are about five different very tangible things I'm going to be going through. And for those at the end of each episode, there's going to be a special call to action. And if you complete that call to action, I will send to you via your email. Or in the DMs, wherever, I will send to you the actual notes and how to steps so that you have it right in front of you, not just the audible version. So the first thing that we're going to tackle, well, let me go through the list of them so you know what our series is going to be about. The first one is in any endeavor. I'm of course talking about a kingdom business, but in any endeavor, we want to find out what's working and what's not working first. We want to be able to slow down long enough to take an honest look, to take an inventory, not to shame ourselves, not to create fear, but to actually be confidently honest about what this current situation is. Because when you do that, what you're saying is, okay, this is what's working and this is what's not. And now I know what I need to continue doing, and I know now what I need to continue not doing. Okay. But sometimes we find ourselves just repeating again and again and again. Again, it doesn't matter if it's your health, your marriage, your business. We find ourselves repeating things, and because we haven't taken the time to pull back and do that inventory. So I like to think of this as a bucket. If you imagine that on a daily basis, again, you pick the topic, all right? If on a daily basis, you are picking up your water and you're pouring it into the bucket. The water represents your effort, okay? Your attention, your effort, you're pouring into your bucket. That bucket could represent your marriage, it could represent your physical health, it could represent your business, but you're pouring into it, okay? Um, and what happens is if we don't take an honest inventory of what's going on, we do not see the leaks in our bucket. We don't see the cracks in our bucket. We don't see the water dripping out of our bucket. We just keep carrying this bucket around and every day pouring into it and every day kind of wondering, well, why the heck isn't my bucket filling up? The filling up would represent this place of, okay, because I want to pour out, right? I want to pour out. I want to be a generous giver. I want to pour out from a place of I'm filled up, not a place of I'm always needing to be filled up. All right. And so I think the dream for all of us, I think God gave it to us, is that we pour in so that we can pour out. right? We're pouring into the bucket so that we can pour out. But if we don't ever have that sense of relief that we get to pour out, we get to be the generous giver, we get to enjoy the more fruitful marriage, we get to enjoy the physical health that we've been working on, we get to enjoy a business that's bringing in income and clients that are transforming and thriving. If all we're doing is pouring into the bucket, it gets exhausting. And I don't believe that is not God. There's nowhere in scripture and God's nature and his promises that tell us just to keep toiling, right? We do need to keep applying effort so that we can watch God in the pouring out. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about the leak finder. Leak, like a leak in your bucket. Where is the leak finder? And I am going to be focusing this on businesses, but you're going to be able to easily adjust to whatever area of your life you want to adjust it to. They're going to be 10 questions, and you're going to score yourself at the end. The second episode, we're going to be talking about what is that mindset of a healthy kingdom CEO? What are her thought patterns? What is she thinking about daily? What does her schedule look like? How does stewardship show up in her business? How does overcoming obstacles look to her? How does taking inventory and evaluating what's going on look? How does money and expenses and income and revenue, how does she view that? What is the healthy practice of the kingdom CEO? So we're going to be looking at her mindset about her life and business. Our third week, I'm going to be giving you a prompt. It's going to be a short week. I'm going to be giving you a prompt. We're going to talk about AI, and we're going to talk about using it not just to ask it a question and get an answer. Okay. So, when you are, AI is really only successful because of your human input. Let me say that again. AI cannot be truly successful for you, meaning it's going to give you answers that are really going to be helpful unless you are giving it really important information. Okay. Because if you're not giving it enough information, it cannot be successful. It's just going to give you some kind of generic, I'll use the word flat, kind of flat answers. And you might be like, well, that sounds good enough. But if it's not landing, for example, if it's a social media post, well, then you're going to say, oh, okay. It might very well be that you just asked it questions and you did not give it enough of your passion, your who you serve, why you serve them, what result you want them to get, what solution you have for them, why you have it, why you're different than what other people have and do. The more information you give it, the more fruit you're going to see in the answer that Chat GPT. I'm using that as an example. There are many AI tools out there. So whichever tool you're using and plugging into, same thing. I do recommend that you don't use a bunch of different tools because again, then it's like you're spreading out your energy. Pick the tool that's going to be your primary tool. Use other tools for different things. But make sure you're really giving quality information so you get quality back. All right. So I'm going to be giving you a prompt that is based on having a conversation with your AI versus just asking it to give you an answer. All right. Because the more you can have a conversation with your AI, the deeper it's going to help you go to understanding why your business is working, why it's not working, where you're stuck, where there's a disconnect with what you're offering to your client from her perspective, on and on. Okay. So that we're going to have a conversation about prompts, and that's going to be really helpful. The fourth, is that one, two, three? Yeah. Fourth is so many of my clients struggle with, and I have struggled with, my relationship with social media. And the story that we tell ourselves about social media um, is what we can expect our outcome with it to be. So, for example, if you loathe social media, you can't stand being on social media, you feel inadequate on social media, all of these things going on, and you can stack up the negatives in your own list, then why are you expecting to have a positive experience there? Okay. So instead, we're going to talk about what does it look like to have a healthy story about social media, a kingdom minded healthy story about it so that it can bear fruit. And I'm going to be giving you some very specific, tangible things, a way that you can build and integrate a content creating system into your schedule that bears fruit and takes all of this heaviness and noise and what am I going to post? Where am I going to post? How am I going to post? Are they going to like it? Are they going to get engaged? All of the things. We're going to move all that to the side and get focused on what's really important about social media and why we're using it. And our fifth week, one, two, three, these should be numbered. They're not. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, our fifth is, when do you know it's time to hire a virtual assistant? Someone who can help you, for example, with your social media. It's not the only task that they can help you with, but there are in overseas, there are women that earning a $10 an hour wage is life-giving to their family, a life-giving wage. And for example, in the Philippines, right? Now, um, so what we're going to talk about is, how do I know it's time? How do I go about finding a VA, and what does it look like to do it well? Because believe me, I've done it not so well and I've learned, and now I would give you kind of best practices and best tips so that you really experience saving time, saving money, and being able to invest that time doing things that really, really make a difference in your business. So that you know, basically it boils down to, if you're doing something that you could pay someone $10 an hour to do, and now you can spend time working on something that really someone's going to pay you $100 an hour to do it, right? So it doesn't make any sense that we would continue not hiring a VA who could take things off of our plate to allow us to do much higher level things. For example, building trust and having connections with your leads. Instead, you're over here doing social media and you're like, I don't even have time to follow up with these leads, right? That's just a little example. We'll go much deeper. And then our final week, one thing that is little, but it's big, is your Facebook profile. So if you've been around me for a while, you know that my primary platform is Facebook. That doesn't mean your primary platform needs to be Facebook. But if people are finding you on Facebook, you need to make sure that your profile communicates who you are and what you do. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to walk through things to remove, things to avoid doing, and things to kind of upgrade your presence. And the reason why we're doing that is twofold. It is for the person that comes across, maybe they see a post of yours or they see something and they come over and they want to check out something about you, but there's like nothing there that's helping them link up what you said you do. There's nothing on your personal profile about it. Don't hear what I'm not saying, because I am not suggesting that you spend all of your time on your your personal profile pushing what you sell. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. But I am suggesting that they can clearly see who you serve and what solution you provide for people. Okay. Now, we'll talk about some of the things that you can upgrade. I remember I said it's twofold. It's for that person looking, but it's also for you. Because if you have a Facebook profile that you're kind of like, meh, I'm not really sure about that. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know where to put things. It's not really an updated picture of me, or no picture of me at all, et cetera, et cetera. Are you going to be confidently showing up on social media? Probably not. But if you have a profile that makes you feel like, this is the businesswoman I am, this is what I do, this is who I serve, right? Then when you post on there, you're going to feel more confident, I like to say, about who you are, what you do. And so it matters that you are clearly communicating with a sense of kingdom. I'll use the word authority. And as we know in the kingdom, that means a deep humility, because God's the one leading you, right? But He's given you the authority to go out and make the impact through the calling that He's given you. And so we want to show up with that confidence, right? We don't want to show up timid or afraid. That doesn't sound like a kingdom minded CEO, right? Or business owner. So that's the overview. So now we're going to go back to our topic for this episode, which is that leak finder, your leaky bucket. Okay. So the first question, you ready? I'm going to be asking you 10 questions. I'm going to ask you, you're going to be rating yourself. Now, whenever I give somebody these questions, it's basically kind of a scale of 1 to 10. Each question will be. Try not to overthink this. This is just your answer for today. Maybe you're feeling extremely confident today. All right. Maybe you're feeling extremely not confident today. So that's going to affect your number. Just put the number for today. It can change tomorrow. All right. So, question number one is about consistency in your marketing. Because if you're not consistent, you look very part time to the people who might want to work with you. And if you look very part time to them, that lowers the trust that you're really committed to what you're doing. So that lowers their trust that they should invest with you because they want to invest with someone who's really all in and is going to be there for them, okay? And not be inconsistent. So your marketing reveals a lot, all right? Now, so the first question is, how often do you share valuable, relevant content that attracts your right fit people, but nurturing them, right? So it's content that is for a specific niche and it lets them know who you are and how you help them. It's value-based content. It could be a poll, it could be a statistic, it could be an informative piece, it could be a this or that, but it is all clearly letting them know who you are, the value that you carry. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 would be I rarely post, I'm very inconsistent. That's okay. Put it down. All the way up to 10 would be I'm posting high value content multiple times per week consistently. And by multiple, I'd say more than 3 per week. So at least 4 times a week to get a 10. A 5 would be I'm posting like every other week if I looked at it on average. So I kind of go in and I go out. All right. So what is your score there? Write your number down. Then it even asks you for a little bonus section. What is your number of posts in your last 7 days? So you can go look. What that question's encouraging you to do is become a student of what you're doing. Pretend that you're the CEO and you're monitoring your best producer, which is you. So a CEO's job is to monitor what their best producer is doing. You are your business's best producer, but you're also the CEO. So you need to change hats sometimes, right? All right, number 2, the DMs, direct messaging. How often do you proactively start or respond one-on-one conversations with potential leads by offering them something of value, not offering them your product? Okay. If you're initializing things with a product related conversation, you're lowering trust. So you need to give something of value, a video, something that you offer it and then they say yes. So you don't ever give something in the DMs without permission. Hey, I have something that you might be really interested in. It would help you with this. If you'd like me to drop it here, I will. It could be a lead magnet. It could be a video. It could be a one page, the 10 things you need to do, right? So how often do you do that? 1 is a never. 5 is occasionally, but not consistently. And 10 is consistently doing DMs weekly, offering something of value. All right, write down your score. Number 3, sales conversation confidence. After you've nurtured your right fit lead, okay, how confident are you moving into the conversation of, hey, I have something that might be based on what I've learned from you through our back and forth. I have something that might be a really good fit for you. Would you be interested in knowing about it? Okay. That's the beginning of the sales conversation. Asking for permission, asking if they'd be interested. And then you move that to a DM, a phone call, a Zoom, something like that, based on what they want to move it to, not what you want to move it to. You ask them. And if you'd like to get on a call, we could do it via Zoom. We could stay here in the DMs, or we could get on an actual phone call. What sounds best to you? So you're going to put a number 1 if I avoid that. It feels so uncomfortable to me. You're going to put a 5 if I do it sometimes, but I'm still pretty hesitant about it. 10 is I'm pretty confident, structured, and I do this frequently. It is a natural part of my business, showing up and offering value to a nurtured, right fit lead. Okay. Number 4. So write down your score for number 3. Number 4, follow up and lead tracking system. How robust is your follow up and tracking? Now, by robust, I don't mean it doesn't have to be some CRM, some software, some big digital thing. It can literally be a piece of paper where you've written the lead name over here, and then you have a list of things that you give value. It could be join my Facebook group. Here's my lead magnet. Book a call with me. No sales call, just to help you. It could be an assessment. It could be a workshop that you're giving for free. Those are the things you're inviting, building trust, building trust, building trust. So how um how are you tracking right now? Would you call it, I have no system and my leads are getting lost? 5 would be I'm manually doing it, but it's very loose. I'm not very structured with it. I don't like make sure every week I've captured the leads for the week or something like that. I'm just kind of like, oh, crow. I need to go search through my DMs and try to find out who I've missed. Or 10 is I track every lead, I write them down, I follow up, I have a system that I use. Write your score. Number 5, Facebook group. Do you have a group and are you providing value consistently in the group? Number 1 is my group is totally inactive, basically non-existent. 5, I post sometimes, but there's little engagement, so I don't really like posting. 10 is I post consistently and I get pretty good engagement at times. It's not perfect, but I'm adding new members and I'm tracking how many new members I'm adding. That's a 10. Number 6, monthly value add event. Are you running some kind of a taste and see event, a workshop, a challenge, a webinar, a Zoom gathering, basically, where your right fit clients who you've been nurturing, you get to invite and they get to see you on Zoom in like a family room style, and they get to hear your voice and hear your story and see the value that you carry. And then you can offer them whatever solution is you have to offer, whether it's product related, coaching, consulting, private, one-on-one, group. Okay. 1 would be I never do that. 5 is once in a while I tried them, but I feel really salesy doing it. Don't have a system. It feels very manual. 10 is I do this monthly. People attend. I deliver clear value every time, and this is most of your sales come from that event. That's a 10. All right, number 7, the lead nurture system. Do you have a system that keeps you nurturing leads? Because not every lead is going to say yes at the same time. So you need to have ongoing nurturing. For example, emails would be a great way to ongoing nurture. Checking in the DMs, ongoing nurture. Inviting to your Facebook group, ongoing nurturing in there. Inviting to a comp call. Things that you have like in your back pocket a list of things and you pull out the one that's the right fit at that time for that particular lead and you invite them so that you're nurturing. What's your score? 1 would be I've got no system. 5 is manual but very inconsistent. 10 is it's automated. So you have a CRM probably where emails are going out. You have a structure to your Facebook group where you are regularly giving value and you're inviting them to that live event monthly, regular. Every lead's getting value-based touches, not just sales conversations. That's a 10. Number 8. CEO breaks and boundaries. Do you schedule regular breaks in your day, in your weekend, in your holiday time to recharge you, restore you so that you can show up and be your best? Or no. Number 1 is no, never. I'm always running. I don't schedule breaks. 5 is sometimes I do, but it's pretty rare and I feel guilty when I do it. 10 is breaks are intentional. I protect them. They are part of my business plan. Without them, I cannot show up and serve. And I will not be restored. I will not be energized. So, some example for these would be every morning, spending time with the Lord. That is getting yourself prepared for your day. Others would be during your day, walking away from your desk, whether it's to go have a meal, whether it's to go out and sit in the sun, whether it's to go call your a loved one, just a reconnect, but doing something that is a break for your mind, kind of restores you. You could do a movement break where you're actually maybe doing 10 jumping jacks, and it just physically restores you. So those breaks and their boundaries, because you understand the power of doing them, because you also know the cost of not doing them, and the heaviness, the overwhelm, the physical. We get sick, right? And that you could also put in sleep, going to bed at a certain time, waking up at a certain time, keeping those boundaries, movement for your health. There can be lots of different things that a CEO would put in to steward well their body and their spiritual mind and be renewed so that they can really show up full for those that they serve. A one is never, a five was sometimes, 10 is very intentional. It's part of my plan. Nine, seeking God first strategy. Well, I already just kind of said that. So if you're seeking God first, seeking God first is our best business strategy because He's our business partner. And if we're not seeking Him first, we are losing out on His voice, His guidance, His provision, His ideas. Um, so, how are your mornings going with Him? Because that's what we do first. All right. So I wake up every morning and I want to start with him, but I end up scrolling if I'm really honest. That's a number one. That's just honest. Five is 2 to 3 times a week, probably on average. I make him first in the morning, but the other days I'm off to the races. That's being honest. A 10 is this is a non negotiable part of my day. This is how I start. And if I don't, everything else is off. So put your score. And number 10, delegation, VA support. Do you have VA support so that you're not doing everything alone? That is not going to get you to your next level of growth. It may, you may be able to manage, keep the balls in the air where you maybe bring a little income in, but if you're really looking for that next level of growth and you don't have anyone coming alongside you to help you take off some of those tasks so that you can be focused on the more important tasks that are going to move your business forward, that's not wisdom. That's pride. So, businesses, callings, and you deserve investing in. Your calling deserves to be invested in. You deserve to be invested in. Because if you're not willing to invest in you, why are you asking someone else to invest in you? Boy, that was a painful one I had to learn. So, one is, all right, I'm admitting it. I do everything myself and I always feel behind. Five is I occasionally delegate, but it usually doesn't go well. So I'm back to the if it is to be, it's up to me mindset. 10 is I have a VA in place. It's a system in place, and I focus on my zone of genius and let her help me in the areas that I oversee it. I review what she's doing, but it doesn't require me. But it allows my business to run smoother with her. And so you're going to put your score. And then so it's 10 questions, maximum of 100 points. So you're going to make your total. What is your total score? Okay. So you can press pause because I'm going to give you the answer keys. So what it means, if you're between 80 and 100, you're probably running like a Kingdom CEO. Always tweaking, always room for growth. We're not looking for perfection, but you got some really good stuff in place, and congratulations. 60 to 79, you've got a good base, but you've got some leaks and they're slowing you down. So prioritize your lowest scores. And under 60, you got some major leaks, but fixing just one of two of those lowest ones will change things fast. So don't be discouraged. Get focused on one or two that you can handle and get fixing those fast. So circle your lowest scores, journal about this assessment. What are you learning? What's being revealed? What are your biggest areas of opportunity here? And pray. Ask God, show me what's most important, Lord, that you want me to start working on. Okay. Now, If you are still with me, and if you are watching wherever you're watching this, if you are on YouTube and you subscribe to the channel, send me a screenshot that you subscribed and you made some comments about this post, this YouTube, and how it helped you. I will send you this leak finder so that you can use it again and again and again. You'll have it in a written form. Okay. If you're on Spotify, same thing. If you're on Apple Podcasts, same thing. Wherever you're listening, or you can send me an email reply. Let me know that you gave a review, you followed, or you subscribed, and you would like a copy of the 5-minute leak finder so that you could continue scoring yourself so you can continue growing. All right, guys, gailroot.com. Very easy to find me. I have my monthly events scheduled out through the end of the year. So you can go check those out and get them on your calendar. And I wish you just a beautiful business, partnered with the Lord, really learning about how He wants to transform you using the vehicle of your business.